They're getting really creative with these packages from China. So in 2021, when it comes to the PlayStation 2, there is a lot of stuff still happening, and you can do a really great stuff with your PlayStation 2. Not only with your Slim model, I think a lot of you will have the Slim model and even maybe grow up with it. I personally grew up with the PlayStation Fat, or the PlayStation model number 1. So when it comes to the model, I already did some reviews about it, like putting an EDA drive in this machine. There are so much great things you can do with it. And also, if you're having some problems with your laser, this can be a very great solution. But I just want to do a quick point out, if you're having a Model 1, you need to get yourself an adapter if you don't have this one. The original one has an EDA connection, a really old one, and finding some good big hard drives can be a little bit of an issue. This one you're seeing is an aftermarket with the option using a SATA drive. So with a SATA drive, it gives you so many new options. Not only to forgetting is that SATA drives nowadays are very cheap. And 3.5 inch bladder disk is very cheap nowadays. You can maybe pick up a 1 terabyte for not a lot of money. So combining with this, you can do a lot of great stuff. Maybe you have a 2.5 inch laying around, you can also use this one, and that is another way to go to. But don't forget, there are more options out there. So for example, if you want to use an SSD, you can use it in your PlayStation 2. And maybe in the future, we're going to make some reviews about them, just to see how does it work and what is the performance. But not to forget, there are so many ways you can play with a hard disk in your PlayStation Fat or PlayStation 1 model. But in this video, I want to take a close look at the Slim, because with the Slim, it's going to be quite challenging, simply because we can't use a hard drive inside the machine. Or maybe there is a solution. You know what? Maybe this is a way. And let's use some tape. Yeah. Of course, I'm just kidding. So what you need to do with a model number 1, just slide in your disk, EDA or SATA. And don't forget your Mac free boot. And that's it. And you're ready to go. But with the PlayStation 2 Slim, we don't have an internal hard drive, and there is no way to do this. And tape doesn't work. So with the Chinese, I found on AliExpress this all-in-one kit that includes a hard drive and also the memory card and everything we're going to need, because we need to use the USB external hard disk storage device. Here we're having this in this very nice transparent casing. This model is the 640 GB Western Digital Blue. And I must say that they are still using a very old USB connection, because if I'm saying it correctly, the port on the PlayStation 2 is 1.1 USB. So it's retro all the way. And also we can make one with an SSD. I think it will not give a big boost simply because of the data transfer is not that fast with 1.1 USB. But let's take a close look at the memory card. So the memory card, you can make them yourself. Just want to be pointing this out, you can do this very easily. But the Chinese give this more like kit, so that also more like everything is reconfigured. So when you plug in the memory card, it will recognize the hard disk itself. But when you take a close look at the label, you can see this memory card is specially made for the USB games, or in other words, the external hard drive. Okay, so let's grab myself the cable and let's plug it in the hard drive. And let's plug the hard drive into the USB port of the PlayStation 2 Slim and let's go with the show. And need this one too. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do, plug in the FreeMac Booth memory card. It doesn't even matter which port you're going to stick it in. I'm going to use port number 2 because I want to use my original memory card in port number 1. Next up, let's try the hard drive. So as you can see, we're having here 2 USB ports at the front. I'm going to use the right one. I tried both of them. It doesn't really matter which one, because it did recognize the hard drive. The disk drive, not going to use it because we're having a hard disk. So basically what we're going to do is play from there. Alright, so when plugged in and powered on the system, you can see it will boot up in FreeMac Boot and we don't need any much chip whatsoever that I really like about this way you can play. Okay, so we're having the functionalities like the browser function. We can go to the memory cards, system configuration, ULELF, and this means more like configuring the memory card for OPL and other devices, OPL, hard disk loader, simple media system, launch disk, code break, USB advanced. There are some emulators on this. We're going to make a separate review about that. I don't want to get into, let's say, the emulation of the PlayStation 2 because we can do that. Okay, FreeMac booth configuration, that's something we don't need, of course. Let's take a close look at the OPL and how does this version look. So OPL is basically a great way to load up all of your game. So if you're going to make an ISO file from your games, you can basically put them on the hard drive on a special program. There are tutorials out there, I can make one if you want to. Let me know in the comments. And here you can make your collection of games. I did notice that it takes quite a long time for loading up my covers. And that's because of the USB device. So OPL can be used also for a hard drive like the first model I've shown you in this video. And we're having the option to add PlayStation 1 games. It's a little bit of a hassle, but it works. But I did notice that the loading times are a little bit longer than usual when you're having an internal hard disk with the PlayStation Model 1. The one that pointed out, and that is one of more like the cons that you're having with an USB external device on the PlayStation 2 systems. Another great feature is when you're pressing the buttons like select start and the top buttons or the shoulder buttons, what you're going to see is that we're going to reboot it. But I did notice it's a little bit problem with some games. Some just freeze and you still need to reboot your freaking system. Just a quick try out and with this game burnout, and you can see that the loading times are, well, let's say the same like in disk, but normally we're going to get instant loading when you're having an internal hard drive most of the time. I think it's just a great way to play your original games, or you need to ISO them and put them on a hard drive, but you can still enjoy them, especially when your laser is wearing out. I wish they made an option like this, that you can more like with the Xbox Classic, put your disc in it and load it up straight into the hard disk, and so far I know it's not possible. So you're stuck with the OPL program that you're going to need for loading up your games on a hard drive. So for the Slim, we don't have any other solution than the USB storage device. And if you're looking at the OPL list, what is supported and what has problems, you will notice that the USB version has a lot of problems. And what I already a couple of times noticed in this video is that when playing some games, the loading times are significantly longer than the internal hard drive. Nevertheless, you can make it yourself, you can buy a kit, it's all up to you. I want to thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.